Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Prasad this side.
Can I now? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think you are you making me as a host so that I can show the slides?
I'll make it to you, sir. I'll already made it. You can share the screen, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see it now on the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see the screen.
So I'll put it on the slide mode.
Yes,
is it
sir.
Okay now? Is it okay now?
Yes,
Fine.
sir. That is fine.
Fine. So I'm ready. Whenever I think that tube at the back is giving more flash, I'll just try to put it off. Let's see.
Yes, sir. We can see the flash.
I think this is okay. This is okay, I suppose now.
Yes, sir. That is fine. That is fine.
So today's session is 1 hour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can see me properly, no?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Today I'm wearing coat and all that. But I'm just seeing my face only. I don't know. You got to adjust it.
Just adjust little bit so we can see the passport size, sir.
How?
Sir, you are using desktop or laptop?
Laptop.
So you can.
I'm at desktop. Yeah.
There is a desktop. We cannot adjust.
That is okay.
That is fine, sir. There is no problem.
No,
Yes, sir. Yes. We can
Fine.
see the passport size. Right, sir. Perfect.
As per your wish.
It's okay.
Sir, we have Soil sir with us.
Ah.
Soil sir, getting my voice to you?
Yes, now I can.
Well, good evening. Nice seeing you.
Sir, good evening, sir. How are you going?
I'm fine. So, today's session, I think here onwards, all the sessions are 1 hour. And after going through the syllabus given to me, I will try to adjust it such a way that important points will be covered during the sessions. Today is the introductory session. Fine?
Sure, sir.
So next week onwards, I think we will adjust it properly. Today, I'll just talk about general management.
Sure, sir. No problem.
And Vikas, no, his coordinator name is Vikas, no? So I don't think we'll get any question answer right now today. I will complete it. Maybe if I'll ask 5 minutes or something, we can have question answer. Good.
No, sir, just in case if they have any doubt per se.
So
because
after quarter
this
to
is...
5, you can ask them to put it on chat.
And sure, sir. We'll pick it up from there, sir.
Yeah, and you just say and then tell me.
Prasad, am I visible? My background is all right?
Sir, just a moment. Yes, sir. That is fine.
Okay.
It's perfect. It's perfect, sir. Yeah.
सर आप बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज की मीटिंग के लिए अभी भी डीपीयू आते हो सर?
Last meeting I came.
लवली सर, इस बार अगर आप डीपीयू आओगे तो यहाँ पे फ्लोर पे भी आइए ना।
जरूर होगा, उधर ही है ना। I met Parvi madam. Yeah, she was there.
Lovely. No, sir, I would like to also catch up with you in person as
No
well.
issue. No issue. Next time, whenever I'm coming that side. Yeah. I think my coordinator is Vikas, na? Vikas is there?
So Vikas is the HOD. No, he's just left for home. He should be riding.
I was telling him that next week probably I will conduct on Sunday, but no issue. I think I can conduct on Saturday only. I adjust in my program. Saturday would be better for me, you know.
No worries, sir. I will let him know that.
In case of any problem, then we may shift. Not next week, sometime, because there are 12 Saturday I have to book now.
No worries, sir. आप बस मुझे एडवांस में बता दीजिएगा तो मैं उस हिसाब से यहाँ पे कोऑर्डिनेशन करवा दूँगा।
ये सैटरडे में we'll have to find out whether दिवाली वगैरह आ रहा है क्या बीच में। We'll see that.
उस दौरान तो हमें भी छुट्टी होगी। मैं वो
Yes. Sorry to interrupt, Sohail sir. Actually, Chitale sir, actually we plan in that way, like we skip that Diwali week from the schedule.
Okay, but then can you send me a schedule of all Saturdays so that I can?
Yes, sir. Sure,
my
sir.
diary. That will be
Yes.
better. So I will not plan from my calendar. You do one thing. Please share all those Saturdays. 12 Saturdays. For here onwards, 11 Saturdays. So
Yes,
that I
sir.
will put it in my diary so that I will not take any other assignment.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
No issue. So this will continue up to December. It's a long this thing. No issue. So I'll have ready. You just tell me when to start.
Sir, start करवा दो.
Hello. Going to introduce me?
You're all set, sir?
Yes, I'm set.
Right. So, hello everyone. Wish you guys all a very good evening. Today I'm here to introduce an eminent faculty member who has been teaching various batches at DPU as well. It's Dr. Captain Chandrasekhar Chitale. Dr. Chitale actually has held many important positions in the University of Pune. He worked as a director of Skill Development Center. He was associated with the Department of Management Sciences, very famously known as PUMBA. And he was the head of department at PUMBA as well. Currently, he holds various other positions. He has teaching experience, international teaching experience as well. He was invited to go Khon Kaen University and Nong Khai campus in Thailand, where he delivered lectures on topics related to human resource management and other management studies as well. He went to the Dubai campus of Paymanur University as well, where he took a lecture and session on human resource management. He has PhD thesis by non-salary benefits and industrial peace, a critical study in '95. He has been a research guide under the Faculty of Management. With such massive academic experience behind, I'm sure you are in wonderful hands of Dr. Captain Chitale. Please maintain discipline while sir is teaching. Ensure that you remain mute at all times. We will most definitely allow you to ask questions.
Well,
Sir, just a moment. He is disconnected, maybe. Just a moment.
Thank you, Sohail sir, for your very nice introduction about the Chitale sir. Chitale sir, can we continue?
True, no issue.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
My video is seen to others,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is this, sir.
but I cannot see my video. No issue. But if it is so, can I start?
Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Okay. Good evening to all the students and faculty, students of the new batch admitted in this institute. But today onwards, today plus 11 lectures. So total 12 Saturdays I am booked for you all. I got a syllabus. This is not the first time I'm conducting session for DY Patil University, distance learning. I have gone through the syllabus, and what I have decided that I'll try to give the important points within the draft syllabus. So within next 12 sessions, I have to cover important things in management. So today I will try to cover unit 1, and as we start discussing, I think you must have seen that they addressed me as an expert. So I will share my experience along with whenever I am trying to elaborate a point, because that is a good learning. This is what we call collaborative knowledge sharing. And I think some case, some references at that particular point of time will definitely help you students to develop themselves as managers. I'm very happy that you have registered for this particular program, though it is a distance mode. But learning, there is no limit, whether distance or offline. If you are really keen to learn management, I think distance mode also will be advisable. And of course, in whatever COVID times we have seen, thereafter, even traveling, especially traveling in Pune, has become a really hassle. Fine. A lot of traffic jam. It saves time. It saves your energy. So let's see. I mean, it will be a good interaction. So I will start my session with unit 1. This particular unit will cover what is management, what is business, what is organization, and general things about management, because this is a base. Fine. So let's start. Overall, what we are going to learn, take a note in next 10, 12 sessions, total program, is this. Introduction to management, planning, organizing, directing. These are functions of directing. Consists of communication, motivation, leadership, staffing, controlling, coordination, and decision making. All important functions. We cannot say planning is only important. It's not. It is an interwoven. Like once you do planning, you have to do organizing thereafter. So we will see this, the beauty of this particular subject. I'm sure when you have decided to do this particular course, you have a lot of aspirations. Probably you want to enhance your educational qualification. If you are working, probably you are aiming at some higher position. You need maybe an assistant manager position or later on managerial position. So I personally feel that the experience plus a theoretical knowledge definitely helps a manager. When I left army in 1981, that was my qualification was just BSc. I'm going to share a lot of such things. I mean, that is a good learning for you people. And I remember my first interview for some corporate job. When a question was asked to me, can you define management, administration per se? In fact, let me give you background. In 5 years, I served as a captain. I served as a major in Assam for one year almost, helping the civil administration. Assam was very hot that particular point of time. A lot of agitations. And when I heard this particular question, I was a little cheesed off. Because a person who has served as a class 1 officer and then trying to give an interview for the post of administrative officer, what sort of question this young lady is asking me? And I told that lady, madam, I'm not interested in this interview. She got shocked. Because a person who is trying to seek a job is on the face giving answers, I'm not interested. I gave a reason why. That particular interview was conducted by one consulting firm, Ferguson, F. Ferguson, I think. But the advertisement, they have not declared the name of the organization for which they are looking for an administrative officer. So I then started giving her a feedback that we are conducting this interview, or there's a company called Jain Sai in Pune, near Bajaj. And a couple of more things I've told, the name of the officer who has left, his boss name, his salary, and the reason for leaving. After having told all these things, she was surprised and she asked me, who told you all this? Then I had to conclude that interview saying that, Madam, I don't know the definition of administration, but when I'm sitting in front of you, I'm quite prepared for this interview. In one way, I told you, you're not prepared to conduct my interview, and you just walked off. But let me share, friends, with you, that particular question triggered a lot of thinking process in my mind. After 5 years of service, when I left my basic qualification of BSc, I was doing MSc when I joined Army because that was the first SSB I got through. So I could not complete my MSc. But then I realized that if I want to be successful and get settled in the corporate life or any other civil life, I have to have a management qualification. And probably that particular question is a motivation for me. It really triggered that motivation. And then I took admission under evening course. By that time, I got a job in Thermax, that too as a security officer, because normally this is a job given to Army people, but I accepted it because I wanted an experience. And 3 years in the evening, I used to attend 2 years diploma in business management and 1 year in masters in management science. And I enhanced my qualification. That was in 1985. And let me tell you, friends, immediately thereafter, I started teaching at Symbiosis as a visiting faculty. And since then, till then, I'm teaching whenever I get an opportunity, whenever they get invitation, I do share my experience. I was in industry for about 12 years. Served with companies like Thermax, Daiichi, Fumaika. Then in training, conducted a lot of training in industry. And in 1997, I joined university initially as a reader, then professor. But in university, I got retired in 2016 as a professor at my age of 62. But I was the head of the department, I was the dean of the faculty on this side, academic side, on the administrative side. I was the registrar by selection, the finance officer, PCUD, control of examination, so on and so forth. 2016, I got an opportunity to become an emeritus fellow of UTC. My project was accepted. We worked for rehabilitation of disabled soldiers, and thereafter, I was nominated as a chair professor, Shantanu Fellows Chair in the university. Point is that if you really want to go into higher echelon, I think you have to gear up. You have to take your training. It's not only MMS, but when I entered academics. By the time I have completed my PhD also, research also. I completed my PhD in 95. That time there was no aim that I should become a professor and all that, but just my qualification got enhanced and there was an opportunity in the university. So I joined and thereafter I stayed there. I shared this case basically because when you take up management, a particular program, I think you should have some aim in your mind. Why for you are doing this? Unless and until you have your aspiration, you have your dream, this particular learning won't help. This is what I feel. Because in management, we say you have to first define your objects, define your targets. Because whatever is happening in an organization, it is nothing but what we call predetermined targets, predetermined objectives. So whatever happening in the organization is basically to achieve these objectives. So goal setting is very important, not only in a corporate life, but in our personal life also. I don't know your age, but probably I'll just give you at this stage only, because there are 4 stages of a career. You find out in which stage you are. The fresh students or other first stage, exploration stage, starts with age 15 to 28. So first graduation, double graduation, and thereafter maybe 1 or 2 jobs. So 15 to 28 years is considered as a exploration stage. The title exploration itself is very self-explanatory. You explore yourself. You explore what kind of job you are looking for. Then comes establishment. Whatever profession, whatever job you have selected, opted, you start getting established in that job. So that starts establishment stage of a career, ranging from age 28 to around 45. So almost a span of about 15, 16 years. After 45 to 55 is a mid-career because you already got a job, you already settled that. And thereafter, above 55 is a late career. Very important to note at this stage, because I take it that you are in exploration stage, or some of you, if you're having some work experience of 3 or 2 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe you are in the beginning of establishment stage. So this is the right time to take management, because if you really want to pursue your goals, if you really want to achieve managerial position, I think this management, not only just theoretical, you are already working. If you're working, then probably that definitely helps your working experience. And when you try to put that theory into working experience, I think it's a good learning management. So management, in this session, we are going to learn all this. Let's go quickly one by one. Basically, what is business? We're talking about business management. Business may be identified as any activity which leads to a creation of utilities of goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants in return for price. And that exactly is the objective of any business management. All businesses are started with the objective of profit. Profit making is the main objective. Nobody starts a business to make a loss. So this is an activity. You offer goods or services for satisfaction of human wants in return for a price. During this transaction, if you cover your production costs, service costs, then you make a profit. If you don't, then probably you make a loss. It's a gain. But all business have the objective of making profit. Organization, of course, we are going to learn this. Organization, Northcott has defined organization, arrangement by which tasks are assigned to men and women so that their individual efforts contribute effectively to some more or less clearly defined purpose for which they have been brought together. So it is a basically contribution of individual towards organizational objective. When you and me work for an organization, as I said earlier, that we do have aspirations, we do have our goals. We are not working only for money. We want to achieve in life. Now, this is very important. If somebody say, no, I'm working only for money, I think I will not agree with them. When I take a job, I want to achieve something. I want to learn. Once I get an experience, then probably I have to go to the next level. I think this is what we are going to talk during Maslow's need hierarchy or Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation. So when we work for an organization, we have to have motivation. And when I contribute towards the objective of the organization, I get satisfaction. So a proper equilibrium is required to be maintained. Your own objectives and organizational. Probably there's one subject called organizational development. Of course, I think we are having one module for organizational behavior. That time I will talk about. Now it's a job of an organization, mainly human resource development department, to develop individuals working in the organization. Try to understand this. When we focus on the development, when we develop our people working in the organization, actually it helps to develop our organization. So men and women working so that their individual efforts contribute effectively to some more or less clearly defined, because purpose of an organization at times it is not clearly defined, or at least it is not known to the lower line. It happens because it's a commercial organization. Those companies, those who really share their purpose, why for they are there, I think their organization people, the people working in the organization are really motivated. But there are some organizations that don't. That's why this author is talking about clearly defined purpose for which they have been brought together. This is what normally organization we show with a pyramid-like structure. At the apex, board of directors, shareholders, and down below all managers, officers, supervisors, and workers normally in a manufacturing sector. The first important point about administration. There are three fundamental of this particular word. Administration is fundamentally the direction of business affairs. Basically, the direction comes from the top, from the apex body, the people sitting in governance, board of directors. Normally, every organization you find an administration department that is a separate, like human resource administration, and normally the administration department within an organization looks after canteen, security, conservancy, transport, something like that. Or some HR functions, somebody is looking this administration part of it. But business administration, the direction comes from the top, board of directors. And therefore, these three elements are very important. First, they have to form the goals, formulation of goals, then the choice of ways and means to achieve those goals, and direction of people in some group purpose. Just about 5-10 minutes back, I said that in management, we don't move into the dark. We have to define the objectives, especially in the corporate sector. They have to define their objectives, what they want to achieve in next financial year. Because we talk in terms of financial. We are right now in a financial year 22-23, already started in April, and it will end in March 23. But all these organizations have set, or they have cleared their budgets, decided their budget, maybe 3-4 months in advance, maybe in Jan 22 or December 22. Because they take a stock, they take a present position, where exactly they are, where they lack, what are the problems, and then they prepare a budget. Budget, again, we'll see that during planning. Budget is nothing but plans expressed in rupee naya paisa. We'll see that at that particular point of time. So formulation of goals, once they formulate the goals, then they have to decide how they are going to achieve it. Means whether they are going to enhance production, whether they are going for some alternate product, something like diversification, whatever strategy. And the direction of people. Now here, the people who are working in the organization requires direction to achieve group purpose. Now this direction comes from the top, but then down the line percolates at the departmental level, departmental manager, then down the department, then deputy management, assistant manager, supervisor, and so on and so forth. But the direction comes from the top. That is very important for any other. This is what administration. Let me comment something more on this administration part of it. Here we are talking about business administration. But one important nature of organization is that management principles are universally applicable. It is not only for corporate sector, but this particular term, administration, is also applicable to you and me as individuals. How? As I earlier said, that you have to have your goals, what you want to achieve another 5 years. I think if you have faced any interview in your future, in your past, I'm sure the interview, those who are sitting there in the interview board, somebody must have asked you a question. If you are trying to change a job from job A to job B, So normally they ask the achievements of your previous job, and then probably they are trying to find out what you want to be after 5 years. Do you have a goal set, and why you are trying to join us? Very important. So you have to have goals. What exactly you want to achieve? Like when you are doing this management course, always ask a question. What am I going to achieve? Definitely a degree, no doubt. If you are very keen, if you are very particular, punctual in all assignments and all, you will get the degree. But just getting a degree, that particular paper, is it going to help you? Certainly not. It is an experience side by side, because management is a practice. Management is a game. Let's be very clear. And every time, whatever, I mean, though there are principles and all that, but probably the principle or the strategy may change from company to company or situation to situation. During this particular interaction, we'll definitely look into this. So you have to have your goals, personal administration. Then you have to have your ways and means to achieve. Like one of the means, we have joined this particular program, so you have to be very attentive and you have to be very particular in attending, because you already paid money. So you should look for return on investment. Another aspect of business. When you pay something, you must plan for returns. Whatever fees you have paid, you should work hard to get a return. So that's what exactly Patil faculties are trying to do. So don't miss a lecture, because every lecture has a cost. And ROI concept should be very clear in the minds of all students of management. Fine. And the direction of yourself, when you set a goal, you have to have a direction. Please go through one site on Google, find out one research paper. If you put 10,000 hours of practice, my favorite research paper, every time I give a reference on this, 10,000 hours of practice. I think Malcolm Gladwell has written this particular paper. Good to read that. What he says, one requires 10,000 hours of practice to be recognized as a professional in a particular discipline. 10,000 hours of practice is not counting your routine, 9 to 5 office routine. Apart from that, how much time you are devoting for your development is very important. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depends. If you really want to cover this 10,000 hours of practice, I think it takes about 10 years with your experience and all that. Then probably people start recognizing you as a professional. It's a good learning. Of course, there is some criticism also if you go through the paper, because any research paper is required to be read from all possible angles. If there is a criticism, please go through that criticism also. But don't get attached. Forget about 10,000 hours. But can you spend 1 hour every day for your self-learning? 2 hours every day for self-learning? That is going to enhance, or that is going to get you in that particular bracket of which will help you to get to achieve your objective. Substantial time to be given for self-study. That is what I learned. Malcolm Gladwell has given a good example. I think Bill Gates, he has given an example. Read that. 10,000 hours of it. What is a learning from that? And you required to devote your personal time for self-learning. You have to have your library. Purchase book, keep it, because as you start going up in the ladder, at some stage or the other, you add one more thing. Management is not, it is an interdisciplinary subject. You may take HR as a specialization, marketing as a specialization, operational management as a specialization. But then at some stage, maybe after 10 or 15 years, when you're going to become, say, planning to become a general manager, fine, chief executive, you should plan, right? That time, it is not only a specialization. Because in that particular managerial role, CEO's role, probably what you're going to do is managing people, managing materials, managing operations, and everything, managing a market. So you have to have, and basically another thing is that finance part of it. Finance is a very important subject. We used to conduct a lot of programs. Finance for non-finance executives. Because every executive is supposed to do budgeting. We'll talk when we are talking about planning, budget. So, administration, and one more thing, learn management for yourself. Management should be a culture. Learn management for yourself. When you develop yourself in that particular culture, definitely spin-off effect of that, your organization is going to get a benefit. What I mean by this? So, for example, time management. I should be very particular about time as a management student. Like, for example, as a faculty, it is given about 12 sessions into 60 minutes. So we have to have a maximum output by way of this interaction. Of course, we are not interacting, I know, but I take it that I have to give you maximum, and it's a tremendous load because within an hour, if I want to cover a complete unit, it is not possible. That's what I have decided. I will concentrate on those points, or whenever I am going to talk or interact with you, I will concentrate on those points which are going to help you. Fine? And that is how we are going to proceed. Let's go further. What we do in management, there are 8 resources of management, 8 aims of management, we call it. Men, money, materials, machines, methods, market, milieu, and minutes. Management is nothing but optimum utilization of these resources. Just 2 minutes back, I said, I have to optimally utilize 12 into 60 minutes, 12 hours into 60 minutes session for Vidyapeeth students. Over here, we are not going to discuss any gossip or film work. So we have to utilize the time properly. So what we do in organization, we manage our human resource, men, women. And if you concentrate on a particular resource, what you see on this slide, it becomes a specialized branch, professional management. Men and women becomes human resource management. Money, finance, materials management. Machines and method talks about production management. Marketing management. Time management, minutes, and milieu is nothing but environment. There are 2 types of environment we deal with. One is internal environment and one is external environment. So I call it milieu as research and development because as a manager, it is expected that you have to scan through external environment. So there are a couple of factors of external environment acting on any business. We'll see that. The factors are basically government rules, regulation, technology, economics, ethical factor, societal factor, and environmental factor. From outside, they act on any business. Government changes a rule. I think you have to take a cognizance of that, and accordingly, you have to plan. So, internal environment is a show of a manager. When I'm managing, when I'm a manager of a particular department, what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to organize whatever activity or whatever schedule given to me, and I have to get the work done. Here comes the definition of management. What is management? Management is nothing but to get the work done from others. Management is nothing but getting an extraordinary work done from an ordinary person. To get the work done, we require a manager. But it is not that everyone, suppose take a situation that in our country or in any organization, everybody is working time. Then probably we don't require a management. That never happens because we deal with human resource. All human resources are not alike. You have to have a managerial qualities to get the work done. That's why in management we talk about a function called direction, which talks about communicating, motivating, and leading. Very important so far as the managerial position are concerned, like planning and organizing. Fine, let's go further. Management is an artful science. It is an art as well as it's science. Like there are some functions. Mantari. 2 minutes. Lecture. Sorry, some disturbance. It's an art as well as science. Basically, because art, like communication, is an art. You have to keep on practicing. Motivating people is an art. But science part of it is planning and organizing. These are considered the science part of it. You are really planned for it. So it is an art as well as science. A direction of people towards predetermined goal. I already talked. We have to have predetermined goals. Without goal setting, we cannot do anything in organization management. Accomplishment of desired objective by establishing an environment favorable to performance by people operating in the organized group. As I was mentioning the internal environment, I think if you read a Kuhn's, the book called Kuhn's Ordinance, Essentials of Management, the author says it is a basic duty of a manager to create the internal environment conducive enough. I repeat, duty of a manager to create the internal environment conducive enough where people working in different groups can work together as a team for achievement of organizational objectives. Sounds very good. But how to create the internal environment is a basic. During the course, we'll definitely talk about that. Where people can work together. As a manager, you should give that sense to your people. Yes, he's leading. He's with us. But let me give you a cautionary note. You cannot go very near to your people. What they say is a psychological proximity. You have to keep a little distance. As you go up in the position, you will understand this. That's why I'm not saying you are not supposed to talk or something. No, it's not. But in the Indian situation, this is something my experience. If you give a loose rope to your people, means your subordinate, they start taking swings. They start taking undue advantage. And once your subordinates start taking undue advantage, that is going to create a problem for you. Here, as a manager, you should know how much liberty is required to be given. And if you are given some liberty, where to cut the rope. Otherwise, don't allow them to become targets. I mean, you have to be controller. That is what I have experienced. Fine. It's a multi-purpose organ, manages a business, manages a managers, and manages a workers and work. It is a process of getting things done. The people, through the people, for the successful accomplishment, it's arts of possible and art acceptable, art of truth. In this unit, there is something mentioned about the scope of management, nature of management and scope. I will just go through some points. They are not on the slides. That is my note. The first nature and scope is, it is a universal. Common and crucial to all organizations. You can apply principles in all situations regardless of the nature, location, and size of the enterprise. It's a universal. So management is applicable in the corporate sector, government sector, university, non-government organizations, so and so forth. Since we deal with people, it is social. Managing people and groups. To get the work done is a very difficult task. To get a machine operator is easy, because if you have a technology, if you have a knowledge, you can get the advantage of that machine, but not with the people. So managing people and groups, various levels of dynamism, understanding, and sensitivity. It is intangible. Why management is intangible? Management is intangible. It is not anything or object which you can touch, but you can feel its presence through the results of its efforts as adequate orderly work output and employee satisfaction. You cannot say this is a management, you cannot. But when you get satisfaction and when you get output, yes, they'll say, okay, this particular organization has a management. Most of the failures in the organization are related to or contributed to bad management. What exactly is that bad management, you will learn. But then there's something called good management. I mean, you are managing all the resources optimally. There's no wastages, and production or whatever service you are giving, you are offering is fantastic, and you are getting result, you are getting profit. Because one more thing in an organization, that why do we require profit? We require profit or surplus basically to take care of our future. Because to remain in the business, now this is very important. To remain in the business, you require a profit. Why do we require profit? Because growth and development is a strategy for survival. I repeat, growth and development of the organization, the strategy for strategy for survival is growth and development. Because organizations are required to survive in whatever business they are doing. So as the people working in the organization. So for you and me, when we work for the organization, we have to cater for our growth and development. As you have started doing MBA, fantastic. But after MBA, what? Think about that later on. How are you going to get experience? Your desired job. But the survival is a very important key in a management. To remain in business is one of the objectives. You have to remain in business. Otherwise, those who are started after 5-6 years, if you stop the business, that is not proper in management, because somewhere you are going wrong. It is dynamic, as it must remain equipped to face various changes in the corporate environment caused by social, economic, technological, political, and human factors. So I give you one suggestion. Everything is not possible to explain. Please try to find out what is VUCA word, V-U-C-A. You are in a VUCA word. Probably next time we start with that. I'll try to understand from you. V-U-C-A, VUCA. VUCA word. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The word is VUCA. So you are required to manage in VUCA. Probably you youngsters, when you are trying to develop your career in the VUCA world, you have to be updated in all, not only just management, but management with technology. I'm sure Patil University has recently added a lot of technology-oriented digital courses. In last board of study, I think we have cleared a couple of them. Goal-oriented. As we say, predetermined objectives. Unless and until we have a predetermined objective, we cannot. Goal-oriented. They all focus on achieving specific goals. Management process aim to achieve organizational goals that are practical and realistic. When we talk about goal, I think there's a good word called SMART. S-M-A-R-T, applicable to you, me, and organization also. SMART stands for S for specific goal, M measurable goal, A achievable goal, SMAR realistic goal, and last T stand for time bound. So goal has to be specific, measurable, realistic, time bound. Your personal goal as well as your organizational goal. Today, none of us can have a goal, at least today, that I want to become a prime minister in another 2 years. Not possible. for common man, not possible for those khasdas sitting in parliament as well. But if somebody wants to go in politics, and if he or she has a goal, okay, I will be a member of Nagar Parishad in next 5 years. Okay, that is achievable. Maybe after 10 years, I may work for big cities corporation. Okay. Maybe after 15 years, I will contest for MLA. No issue. But immediately, nobody can become even the certain, even all khasdas or BJP as well. Don't, I mean, this is just my view. Then production factor. Managers are vital to utilize capital and labor, therefore significant factor of production. Capital and labor. Coordinating, scope is coordinating. All physical and HR resources require efficient coordination between groups and people, because nobody's working in isolation. There's another beauty. When I work in a team, when I work in a department, when I work in a section, there are a couple of people working along. Everyone may be having different job profile, but when we work together, that work achieves a department goal. All department together will achieve the goals specified or predetermined by all. Nobody is working in isolation. It's a good example somebody has given. Management is like an orchestra. You must have seen the orchestra. There is a band master who keeps on giving direction to all musicians sitting and playing their own instruments. There might be a couple of 30, 40 people sitting there, and every musician may be having different musical instruments. Now, if you remove this director and ask everyone to play their tune, of course, they are having their papers in front of them to what tune is required to be put. But what will happen? There won't be a good melody. There will be just chaotic sounds. The person who is directing, the bandmaster or director of the orchestra, keeps on signaling people, signaling musicians what to, when to, fine. And that is how, at the end, there is a good melody. Exactly the same principle applicable to management. If everybody starts working with his or her whims and fancies in the organization, we cannot afford to accept that. That's here the role of a manager. Manager is required to coordinate, control, plan. All these functions are very important. Coordination is very crucial part of society. Society has a great impact on management. Similarly, management has an impact on society. Managers are responsible for contributing to society through charity, organization, and growth. Nowadays, in our country, 2% of the profit are required to be devoted to CSR, corporate social responsibility. And many NGOs, non-government organizations, are really getting good help from people. That is required. We owe something to the society. Profession. Manager must have proper knowledge and managerial training. They must also conform to the code of conduct and be conscious of their human and social responsibility. Process. Management consists of sequence of actions that we conduct towards an end. This is what is the scope. I think in your first unit is some nature and scope written there. As I was talking about social responsibility, let me share with you. It's not, I think many universities also looking for such social objective. Like my department in Pune University. In fact, let me share with you, I'm also a bit disabled soldier. I met with an accident in 1977, exactly 45 years back, while pursuing my commando course. And that to a very second last day of the day. Of course, I cleared, But thereafter, I sustained an injury, and today also I suffer because of that. So when I was a dean, I thought that near our university, outside our university, there is an institute called Queen's Mary Technical Institute, an organization which was established in 1917 after First World War, basically for giving training to those who were injured during the war. That it was established in Mumbai and then shifted to Pune after 2-3 years. And I'm a trustee there, we give a lot of training to the disabled soldiers. Normally, it is recorded about 200 soldiers become disabled during the service due to various reasons. So we conduct electrical course, fitter course, computer application, and one important course which we have started means Pune University as a social initiative is management course, diploma course for these soldiers in 2008. But let me tell you one thing, the course has really given them a good motivation. Side by side, we started conducting entrepreneurship development program. And I'm very happy and proud to share with you that so far, 150 or more people have taken this management training. Out of that, 40 disabled soldiers have become entrepreneurs. Some of them are quite successful entrepreneurs. One such example, the fellow who is working for Metro is in Pune. Pune Metro has worked for Delhi, Mumbai Metro. He is having a business turnover of 2 crores, having a team of over 80 to 90 people working under him. A disabled soldier, 60% disabled. I thought I should share this social responsibility of the university as well. So, after going through this scope, good learning, it's a universal process. You require management for self, you require management for your organization. You require management for social organization. In big cities, traffic management, the big traffic management. So, what is management? There is a definition given here. Management consists of getting things done through others. Manager is one who accomplishes the objectives by directing the efforts of others. Remember one thing, those 8 resources, 2 important ones, optimum utilization. Management is nothing but optimum utilization of different resources available to you, whether it's the time, whether it's people, whether it's money, whatever. Optimum utilization of resources become professional management. Management objectives to make profit. A logical and publicly desirable aim of management should be a surplus. As I said earlier, why do you require surplus? Basically, to take care of growth and development. Growth and development is a strategy for survival. Because when we start a business, yes, to remain in the business is one of the objectives. To be in the business. We don't start a business with the objective after 5 years we are going to grow. No, we are not. Our aim is to make surplus. Our aim is to make profit. The moment we get more do surplus or profit, we can invest that surplus into new project. New project will try to help to survive. Because on one product or a couple of products which we have been doing business for so many years, we cannot depend because life is external environment changing very fast. Today, probably I may be doing a monopolistic business, but you never know. Within short time, there will be some competitor coming in the market, right? So we have to take care of that as well. As I was talking to you, these factors of external environment, these are the factors. Government, social, technology. Technology keeps on changing. I think you all technology managers. You have to learn artificial intelligence, data, digital courses. Because just management here onwards won't help you. We oldies, I mean, our career that way is finished, right? That way, because we don't want to achieve anything now. Whatever we are having, I'm trying to give it. the theoretical part of it, the experience part. But then for your survival, I think you require technology support. Growth and development is a strategy of survival, as I already said. This is some book in search of excellence, but I will not talk about that because there are a lot of controversial issues. But the points are good. Controversial means now over a period of time, after 40 years, those successful organizations at that particular point of time, today you may find they are not successful. Okay, no issue. But when they were successful, Tom Peters have tried to take out why they are so. In some organizations, they were oriented towards action, learn about need of their customer. Different organizations here described, promoted managerial autonomy and entrepreneurship, achieved productivity by paying close attention to the needs of people, so on and so forth. Let's go further. We have just 5 minutes more. Efficiency is doing things right. Ability to do things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things and getting the right job. I think I have 5 minutes. Sohel, any question on chat box? Sohel? Hello, Sohel? If no question, let me finish this part and then stop. This is a formula for effectiveness, managerial effectiveness. Again, this particular formula is universally applicable. You take out name manager and put student effectiveness, holds good. Teacher's effectiveness, holds good. What are these points? 3 points: information, skill, and vision. Information of 3 types: functional information, organizational information, and environmental information. I'm sure when you have joined a particular organization, they have taken you through induction. They try to give you a lot of information about the organization. Functional information, yes, your profile. They must have given you what exactly is expected. Environmental information, scanning through environment, I already shared with you. But there's a difference between functional information and skill function. Here is the man. You have a lot of theory, but how to use that theory to practice is the skill part. You're expert. I mean, you have done a PhD in HR, but you don't know how to tackle people. No use of that PhD. You're expert. I mean, a lot of theory of marketing, but you don't know how to sell a particular product in a particular market or in different markets. So, management is a practice. So you must. That's why the title of this course: Principles and Practices of Management. Interpersonal skill, talk about between 2 people, interpersonal skill, and vision, insight and foresight. Insight, the understanding of how is his job contribute to the objectives of the organization, and foreseeing how the job is likely to develop in future. When you put insight, when you try to find out, can I save some time while doing the job? Can I save some effort? Can I save some money? And if your logical thinking gives you some solution, here starts the term called Kaizen, continuous improvement. I mean, once you start doing this, your Kaizen already started. Because ultimately, you save money, you save effort, you save your money, efforts, and what's that? Time. It adds to productivity. I think, Sohel, can you hear me? Is there any coordinator?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah, Sohel, I think most of the part of Unit 1 I have covered. Any 1 or 2 question on the chat box?
Right, sir. So I've been getting some few direct messages here. Rutuja actually has asked whether if you could please repeat the scope and nature of management because she possibly missed it out.
Okay, I will just read the heading. I cannot explain now total. The scope of management, I just said, first it is universal, universally applicable. Second is a social. Third, intangible, because you cannot see management, you cannot touch a management, but it is everywhere in the organization. It's a dynamic process, dynamic nature, goal-oriented, predetermined objectives, goal-oriented scope. Production factor, coordination is a scope. Crucial part of society, because you have to look after society as well. Because you sell a product in society, fine. The product is going to society. Society, consumer is a part of society, so you have to look after that. It's a professional. Managerial training and knowledge is required for manager to get the work done. And the process. Management consists of a sequence of actions that we conduct towards the end. This is what is the scope and nature of management.
Right. So lovely. So Prasanna has a question as well. Prasanna actually is asking if you could repeat the meaning of milieu that was page 8 of the PPT.
Milieu is nothing but environment. For any organization, we have two types of environment. Any organization looks like a pyramid. So whatever happening within the organization is the internal environment. But for any organization, there are a lot of other factors which acts from outside. For example, government rules and regulation. That is one first factor. Second one is technology, because technology keeps on changing. Third factor is economy. Fourth factor is social. Fifth factor is ethical. And last is environment factor. Environment means your carbon credit and all that. So all these factors act on your business. So a manager is required to scan through external environment. That is important. It's not only around you, but in the world, what is happening, right? And internal environment, as you are doing a managerial job, it is your duty to see the conducive environment is created where people can work together. So there are a combination of internal as well as external. Milieu is environment.
Right. So I have a question from Janvi. Janvi is actually asking, is there a particular textbook or a certain book if you would like them to refer and possibly come prepared for the next session or something like that?
Firstly, let me tell you, you cannot find a particular textbook because now you are out of your graduation. This is a post-grad program, fine? So you have to refer a couple of books. One book I have already told you, Kuntz and O'Donnell, Essentials of Management. But if you ask your coordinator, he or she will be able to give a lot of other books. They're good Indian books. But my suggestion is that you must read even a foreign author's book. Indian books can be considered the text, but foreign authors with a lot of case studies are discussed, like in a subject called OB, you have got Luthans, Robinson, and so on and so forth. Please, I mean, for books, there is no issue. Once we, maybe on our third unit, when we'll see the history of management, you will find a lot many contributors. And if you put that contributor's name on Google, you'll get a complete contribution of that particular person, like Patil, F.W. Taylor, or Gilbreth, and so on. I think books, so I recommend Kuntz and O'Donnell to start.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. So there are some few just general questions. I believe so on your behalf, I will quickly answer these for you so that you will not stress too much. Ladies and gentlemen, VUCA, the full form for VUCA actually is, it is, in today's world in managerial acronym, the trendy nature of VUCA means it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it is ambiguous. Okay, so that's the full form of VUCA. It's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. The full form. Yes, sir.
One addition. One of my students who is a managing director. Just now I don't recollect that, but next time I will definitely share that. VUCA is a old now.
There's a new one that's coming.
There's a new one. We will talk next time. Fine.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Right. For SMART, the acronym is, it's to be specific, it's to be measurable, it's to be achievable, it has to be relevant, and it has to be bound by time. It has to be time bound.
Smart.
SMART. So, sir, questions that we had on the chat box right now, Mayur, you can actually go back to the lecture, the recording, and figure out the books. You can access it anytime. You will have the link for yourself.
But your
so one last.
Last question.
If you could
your
syllabus
syllabus also must be giving books, no? Whether your syllabus.
Oh yes, sir. We've given. Enough material has been provided, sir.
Yeah. Last question.
Right. So one last question. It's by Sandeep. What is the difference between functional and organizational information?
Oh, he's referring to this managerial effectiveness, right?
Yes,
Organizational information and functional information. Are you asking functional information and functional skill? Let's talk about.
No, sir. It's.
Now let me explain both.
Sir, it's the difference between functional and organizational information.
Okay, organizational information basically means when you join our organization, I'm sure during the induction program, or those who are going to join, you'll go through the induction program, and during the induction program, the seniors will give you a lot of information about organization. Who has started that? What are the core values of those who started this particular organization? What are the objectives of this organization? Because every organization has a different culture. Every organization has based on some ethos. Fine. So about organization, like for example, I always tell my students when they are working in a university, right? They should know their university quite well. How many departments, who is the vice chancellor, something like that. Or in a particular, now offline we cannot talk about that, but whenever any management student join a department, I said, okay, you should know the room size, the area, because these are the extra, because any interviewing manager may ask you how much you know about this university, when this university was established, who was the right vice chancellor, what are the objectives of the university, everything is spelled out. Same in a corporate sector also, everything is determined. So organizational information, seniors, they keep on giving you. Functional information and functional skill. Functional information is basically your knowledge, your theory, your specialization, and functional skill, how you are using your knowledge, your theory in a practice. One example I'll give. If somebody takes a course on swimming, 6 months diploma course, right? And this trainee is not taking a part in practical. I mean, he is never taken in the swimming pool. What will happen? He will just get a functional information. But then functional skill probably he lacks. That's why when there is a theoretical classes being conducted for swimming, I'm just giving an example to explain my point. Simultaneously, the fellow is required to be taken into pool under some guide, and then he will learn how to float and then backstroke and various strokes. And maybe after a couple of months of practice, one can say he is a swimmer, right? He knows swimming. And once he keeps on practicing and develop enhanced skill, you never know, probably he will represent the nation or in Olympics or something. That is what functional information and functional skill. Well, I think it's okay for today.
So I think these are the questions for today. As I said, this is the last question that we take. So with this session for today, I really would like to thank you for taking this time out and interacting with the learners. And I would especially thank you for keeping yourself free to engage with our learners in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We look forward for the next lecture.
Yeah, next Saturday we'll have a unit 2. Right? Thank you.